Thank you for joining us here on Evolutionary Energy Arts. Once again, what on earth is this? Mysterious 14-mile long structure buried in Antarctica found on Google Maps. So this is talking about a structure that was found on Google Maps. It's actually 14 miles long and about 4.5 miles wide. And it's kind of a perfect rectangle when you look at it. So this makes you wonder, are they blurring something out on purpose, or have they cut something out of the photo on purpose? So it's 14.5 miles long, 4.5 miles wide, and it's an area of bright white. So this is something really large. You know, people have wondered, is this a whiteout of a giant mothership UFO? Is this some sort of great city structure under here? Why would they go through the trouble of putting a big blob over something, if that's the case? Or is this actually some sort of rectangular structure itself that is that large? Very interesting. And Antarctica has so many mysteries. You know, for one, we're discovering that there's far more life under the ice and in the ocean there than originally anticipated. So that alone is exciting. But there have been so many reports of various structures being found, of as the ice melts, strange entrances going inward into it. And this is the actual structure here on Google Earth. And if we zoom out so you could get an idea of where it's located. It's this little white dot, which is actually visible from pretty high up. And I'll give you a reference point. There you go. Davis Station is right there as a reference point there, straight off from it. And as we zoom in farther and farther, it definitely appears to be blocked out, blurred out on purpose, extremely rectangular, extremely regular. You have to wonder. And then there's also this line that traces off of it, which, you know, I'm not sure what that is. I'm not an expert on these things, but this is definitely something that's very curious. If we switch to 3D. So very interesting. What is going on in Antarctica? I mean, we know back last year around election time, starting in November and then following through December and January, there were people of all sorts of different importance going down to Antarctica. You had the Pope, the leader of the Eastern Orthodox Church, going down to Antarctica. You had Obama, and then you had Trump later on, and you had Putin go down there. You had astronauts going down there. You had different celebrities. I mean, what's up with that? Why are these people going down to Antarctica? That's a big question. We know they have discovered pyramids in Antarctica, which of course Snopes and some of the other sites have tried to debunk, as they always do. And we know that there have been pyramid structures also found on Mars, which is interesting. So pyramidal structures could be something that advanced civilizations build for some sort of purpose. Maybe it has something to do with the natural properties or energetic properties of the structure itself. But, you know, as the ice has melted in areas and uncovered interesting structures that appear to be definitely not natural rock formations, it's definitely opened more questions. And then just with Google Earth, you know, it's enabled us to see things, and the average person to see things that we wouldn't have been able to see in the past. So pyramid structures are common all over our world. It's a common thing that has been built since time immemorial. And you could check out some of my other videos, like, because some of these structures are far older than what the mainstream scientists are saying. Far older. And there's been reports of finding what looks to be openings, like perhaps UFO bases or perhaps military bases down there that have been kept secret. And that's some fascinating stuff. And you could verify this yourself. That's the thing. That's the thing that's beautiful about it. You could just get on and verify it. The Nazis were fascinated with Antarctica. And as World War II came to a close, many other top scientists and the top leaders of the party left. And they went to South America and they went to Antarctica. They had a new Swabia, which like a new Germany, that they created down there. And they did keep going on with what they were working on militarily. We know the Nazis, they had all different technology. They were really farther ahead than the Allies technologically. And when you think about the size of Germany, it's like maybe the size of Pennsylvania and Ohio combined, if that. Doing what they did, trying to take over the world with the Japanese, pretty amazing. And really, it was technology. They were way ahead. They had some of the best brains, which we ended up getting so many here in the United States after with Project Paperclip. But they were fascinated, and this is official Nazi Germany documents all about Antarctica here. They were fascinated with it, and they started going down there as early as the mid-30s. And they were intent on making a base down there. And if you've ever watched Raiders of the Lost Ark, it's true. The Nazis were fascinated with everything occult because they believed there really was hidden power, hidden knowledge there. So they really did go after all sorts of relics, looking for the Holy Grail, looking for all these different things, like the Spear of Destiny, which was the spear that pierced the side of Christ, because they felt there was some power associated with it, and they were all about power and conquest. So, they had drawn up plans, and they were going to establish bases, and they did establish bases in Antarctica. And we knew about that. And really, they were going to use that as the launching ground in their further conquests. We know they were making saucers. I mean, that's documented. It's factual. And they continued to make them down there. And we have found leftover relics of theirs down in Antarctica from different tests. In 1947, the U.S. Navy sent Admiral Richard E. Byrd and 3,700 troops from the U.S., Britain, and Australia to go down there, along with many ships and many aircraft. And what happened down there is interesting because he came back with his tail between his legs, losing ships and losing planes. And, the word out there is, and this is, hearsay mostly from people that went on the expedition, as well as Byrd himself supposedly was quoted as talking about meeting saucers, which were probably the Nazis, that just they could not keep up with, and that just shot them straight out of the sky. They had no chance against them. And there's been many articles written on that about, did the U.S. Navy go and battle UFOs protecting Nazis? But the UFOs were probably the Nazis' own ships, because they were ahead. They're the ones that developed the rockets, and they were working on different technologies, anti-gravity technologies. And some people believe that they were given these by extraterrestrials, or perhaps they discovered that extraterrestrials had a base on Antarctica. And so that's why they were there, to see what they could back engineer and learn from it. And we sent down this enormous vehicle with Byrd to go over the ice in Antarctica. Pretty impressive vehicle. And that's the fact. The question is, are they still there today? And the answer is probably yes. The leftovers from it. are still probably down there, as well as there's probably many other countries, as we know, that are down there. And there's certainly much more going on in Antarctica than we've been led to believe. And if you've ever listened to Corey Goode or David Wilcox, David Wilcox, I think, is of the opinion that Atlantis possibly is Antarctica, as well as some other people. And of course, we have the famous Perry Reese map that shows that people back in 14 to 1500s knew Antarctica's coastline when it was not covered in ice. So pretty interesting stuff. Now, according to Corey Goode and David Wilcox, that is where there's this race of giants that first landed here on planet Earth that are humanoid but not human, and that did basically take over the planet and interbreed with humans, and what's left of their descendants are the Illuminati and the ruling elite that we have today. So the kingly bloodlines come from these extraterrestrial yet humanoid beings that interbred with humans and left their children in charge of the planet. And supposedly that's part of what was found down there in Antarctica, and part of the reason why the president, both presidents actually, Obama and Trump, and the leaders, religious leaders, went down there, because at some point they're going to have to come clean, and then how will humanity react to the discovering that we're not alone, that extraterrestrials were here, are here, and actually are part of our lineage. And it would change a lot of religious views as well. So a lot of these topics will be discussed in upcoming videos, but I did want to share with you this mysterious object here in Antarctica, one amongst many, and there's going to be so many more discoveries coming up, I'm sure of it. Well, please, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. Also, share with your friends, and please subscribe for more updates. There's going to be more videos coming out all the time. Thank you for joining us and becoming part of the Evolutionary Energy Arts family. Take care.